Hello, beautiful people. It's your girl Neyssa with XPansive Taste, and today we're talking about how you don't have to be married by the time you're 25. That is something that I definitely had to convince myself. Me, right now, I'm 25 and I'm not married, and that is perfectly okay. I was at some point kind of obsessed with the idea of becoming married with by the time I was 25. That was part of my life plan. Before back when I was pure and just innocent and fresh to the world, and so logical and so protected from real life issues and complications before life became complicated. When I was like, a teenager or whatever. Um, yeah, I had this idea that after high school, I would go to college, I would graduate by the time I'd be 22, and then I'd have enough years to just like kind of get established in my career and whatnot, and to find love. And then by the time I'm 25, in that 3 year span where I'm just out of school and all that stuff, working on my career, I get myself a man and we get married by the time I'm 25, because that's when I would be ready. Um, but that's not what happened. Yeah, I went to college and then I dropped out and I was like out of school for like 4 years. And now I'm graduating now at 25. So that happened. Also, there were like so many like not so good relationships. Yeah, some bad situations, because it's not always that simple to find the guy you're looking for. And it's also not that simple to be the woman that you need to be in order to get the things that you want. As you are growing up, there are going to be challenges, there are going to be delays, there are going to be lessons to learn. So you might not get exactly where you want to at a certain time. Or like things might just like work out so perfectly and work out better than you ever expected. And like, for some people, they do become millionaires by the time they're 19 and whatnot and all. Yeah. But that's not gonna be everyone, okay? Some people will have to wait a little bit longer. The thing with marriage is that it really is something serious, and it is a commitment that is supposed to be a pretty much a permanent decision. It's going to be the most important decision you make in your life. Who you decide to marry is going to be one of the biggest contributing factor to like how your life is going to go. It's going to be a very, very important decision. And the earlier you get married, statistically, you are more likely to end up getting divorced. People who get married from the ages of like 17 to like, early 20s, they are most likely to end up getting divorced, just because this is a time of your life where you just like are not really sure of yourself yet. When you do marry that young, you can't really be sure about exactly what you want out of life. And also, you don't have the greatest sense of self yet. You haven't developed yourself fully and come to understand who you are. And, typically, you don't always have the best communication skills in order to express that with someone and really like come together as a team and just like work well together. You got to at least know how to work with yourself first before you invite someone else into your ecosystem. And when it comes to detecting a good partner, you have to be able to recognize like good and bad qualities about a person, and that takes time and skill in order to develop. You can get the advice from someone who is older, who is a mentor, who has a successful long marriage and whatnot, and you can ask them for their opinions about your partner and be like, hey, do you think this person is a good match? Because they have enough experience to see if this person has good qualities and isn't just going to be the type of person who is like, I don't know, narcissistic and abusive. And when you have young innocent eyes, with rose colored glasses, you're not always able to see the bad qualities in someone. You are not always able to know how to correct it. Some things can be changed, some things can be shaped, but some things are just like must be avoided until it's just not a part of who they are anymore. But overall, you are going to need a little bit more life experience in order to see how you and a certain person are going to fit together. And you're going to have to just understand what your non-negotiables are and your boundaries, and you got to write a list. At least write a list that you can review about what you are looking for, not just superficial stuff, but things that actually matter, and that align with what you want pretty much. For example, when it comes to my list, I know that one of the things that is very important to me is that when I'm married, I want my husband to be able to be a provider and allow me to be a stay-at-home mom, because I know I want children. So I need to find, first of all, I need to find a man who wants children. By the way, I already have him. He's amazing. So I need to find a man who wants to have children and also is okay with being a provider, and is okay with having a stay-at-home wife for as long as I need to be one, with the however many children we end up having, probably 3. And in that list, I also did include the things that I know I want my husband to be. Like, he needs to be kind, intelligent, resourceful. These are the things that matter to me. The thing is, getting married is pretty simple. It's a little too easy. If you want, you can legit just go on a website and ask around, be like, does anybody want to marry me? And someone's gonna be like, yeah, let's do it. And it's not going to be like a good situation. I'm just saying, like, you technically could do it, but you need to make sure that you're married to the right person. That is not something that can just be rushed, especially if you want a successful marriage. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was something like people who get married in their early 20s make up like 27% of divorces. And once you get to people who get married from the age of 25 to 30, they make up like 14% of divorces. And then from 30 to like 35 or 40, whatever, it's 10% of divorces. Yeah, so overall, the longer you wait to get married, the less likely you are to divorce, because you are just more sure of who you are going to be ending up with. And you just have better requirements, better standards, a better understanding of what marriage means and what it takes. The other thing is, when you're a 20-year-old woman and you're dating other 20-year-old guys, like, what do you really expect from him? Like, really? Do you really expect him to just like get his shit together and decide to like propose and like be ready and have any way to even afford a wedding, afford anything? Like, does he even have his own place? Can he provide for you? Can he do anything for you? Is he emotionally ready? The answer is no. So how are you dating guys in your age range and expecting him to be ready when you are? But then the solution isn't just to start dating guys who are at least 5 years older than you. For some women, that will work, and you'll get your results faster if you're dating a guy who's like, in his early 30s or whatever, late 20s. And that might turn out great for you. But for a lot of other people, that's just not our vibe. I tried to date a guy that was like older once, and it just wasn't cool. It didn't feel great. I didn't feel like there was much of a connection. It was just a little weird to me. And even though he was someone who was more stable and like more established in his like life and career and living situation, it just wasn't going to work out, because I could feel that we didn't really have a similar way of thinking, a similar enough core of belief, and yeah, it just wasn't gonna work out. So it's not always as simple as just like dating an older guy, because maybe I don't know, maybe he's got a boomer mindset and you don't want to be with that, okay? And there is such a thing as right person, wrong time. There are situations in which you will come across someone who is fine, and maybe it could work out, but at the moment that you meet them, you're just, one of you or both of you are just not really at a good enough mental headspace to work together, especially if you have all these insecurities and doubts and things that are just like bringing out the ugliest parts of you. And it can be like a pretty toxic situation, and the ugly in you could bring out the ugly in them. So maybe you two were going to be, fine together, but because you met at a bad time where you're both going through some things, where you're both just battling all your demons, it just doesn't work out, and it comes to like a point of like no return where there's just too much damage done. And so, sometimes you got to take your losses like that. When you are young and you don't have a strong enough sense of self, when you find someone who is like showing interest in you, you can get so excited that you just like ignore so many red flags. And yeah, you can end up in like terrible abusive situations, and I hope that doesn't happen to you. But there are also just some times where a relationship could be just full of yellow flags, and because you don't have a strong sense of self, you don't have enough boundaries to just kind of stop that person in their tracks and be like, hey, this is not okay. But because you want this relationship to work so bad and you don't have a strong enough sense of self, you might kind of just become too passive and let the person get away with things that they shouldn't get away with. And the more you ignore a problem, the bigger it's just going to get and snowball. And they're going to sometimes not be responsive to when you finally do decide to speak up. And so maybe they got away with this particular thing for like 6 whole months, but when you finally say, hey, this is not okay, then it's like, well, they already gotten used to it. They've already been conditioned to act a certain way with you. And while they can change, it's sometimes easier to just already know what your non-negotiables are and to have enough boundaries to just like stop a person from doing the things that are just not okay. And also know that you need to do things that are going to be beneficial to a relationship, and you need to know what you should not be doing that will be damaging. If you're not holding up your relationship into a certain standard, it's just not going to meet that expectation and it's not going to be successful. So get your stuff together to influence your partner into getting their stuff together. I have a video about how you can get princess treatment from your boyfriend. One of the tips that I included in there was that if you want him to treat you like a princess, you first have to treat yourself like a princess. And that's going to be something that he's going to see and, know that that's a standard that he has to meet. So while you are really young and, you want to be married, there are still things that you can do in order to prepare yourself to get to that goal. First of all, heal from your trauma, understand your insecurities, know how to tackle them, learn how to fulfill yourself and how to make yourself happy. Write a detailed list about the kind of partner you want to have and about the marriage you want to have. Become the highest version of yourself so that you can attract the highest version of your partner. I have videos on my channel that can help you do this. I have one where it's about how to detach from trauma and heal so that you can be just like a more well-rounded, centered person. I also have one about how to get over heartbreak, and in that I also talk about how I manifested my current amazing boyfriend. Yay. I even have a video about how to navigate this new dating world where casual sex is just so normal, and how to like avoid that and not make the same mistakes I did. Overall, I want you to know that you are going to be okay. Just because you're past a certain age and you're not married yet like you imagined you would, you're going to be okay. You don't need to be married by the time you're 25. Your ovaries are going to be fine. They're not just going to rot away at 30. While you can just get married to anybody at a very early age, it's better to find the right person, because that's going to be the biggest important decision in your life. So while you're waiting for the right guy, work on yourself, become the highest version of yourself. Go to school, get a job, have some fun, go on vacation with your friends. Don't do anything you're gonna regret. It's not gonna be worth it to, like, I don't know, get a body count of like 70. That's not gonna be beneficial to you at all. Fix it. So yeah, still enjoy your life, work on yourself, make sure you're making the best decisions in order for you to be the woman that you want to be, and also so that you can attract the best kind of guy you can attract. So that's really all I think I have for you guys. I want to say more. I hope this was helpful and informative. I really hope it was helpful and not just like piling a bunch of doubts in you. I hope I inspired you and motivated you to, I don't know, make better decisions for yourself and to feel okay. Yeah, I don't want to instill doubt in your mind. It's still very much possible for you to, get to where you want to be when you want to be, but sometimes it's just not going to work out that way. And I hope you're going to be okay if it doesn't work out the exact way that you imagine it. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching this video and making it to this point. I really appreciate you guys. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. It would really help my channel. I want it to grow. I want to help more young women like you and, you know, young men. Thank you for watching. Or old men, young, I don't know, everyone. Thank you. I appreciate you. The teenage girls and the 50-year-old women, thank you so much. I appreciate the support from the experienced women who are wise. Yeah, so go ahead and yeah, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, beautiful people. I send you my love. Mwah. Bisous.